All right, everyone, welcome back to the land of Chem. I am your host and the author. My name is Jeffrey Drum. Thank you all so much for joining me again. All right, everyone, welcome back. This is Sunday Site Visit 17, and today I will be exploring the internal chambers of the Great Pyramid of Giza to document the structure prior to the quote-unquote maintenance repairs that are currently underway. This footage was recorded back in May prior to the structure being closed to the public, and it will now remain closed indefinitely until whatever they are doing in there is complete. At this time, no reopening date has been announced. Also in today's video, you will get to see some extremely rare footage from inside of the Queen's Chamber, otherwise known as the extraction chamber, that can only be accessed via special permissions. So thank you so much to my friend Mo for providing me with this clip. And ladies and gentlemen, if this is the type of content you're interested in regarding the function of the Egyptian pyramids, please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube. Click that little notification bell so that you do not miss the 2 episodes that premiere every single week. Like, comment, and stay tuned. If you want to help support the channel, thelandofchem.com. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is @thelandofchem. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that is it for today's intro. So without further ado, let's get right to it. All right, everyone, here we go with tonight's episode. So to preface today's on-site footage, here are a few spectacular pictures, some of my favorites that I have taken thus far since moving to Egypt, and this one with the illuminated central pyramid glowing in the distance. And then again, when it fell behind some cloud cover, which was extremely welcomed after an absolutely sweltering journey inside the Great Pyramid that you will see in just a moment. And the last one, which had to be taken with the wide angle to give you a sense of the enormity of the Giza plateau and the tremendous size of the pyramids themselves. And it is about a 1-mile walk in a straight line from this spot here next to the Great Pyramid all the way to the third pyramid here in the distance. Really awesome pictures from a genuinely life-changing day on the Giza plateau, and you will find out why eventually. All right, now on to the subject of today's exploration, the internal chambers of the Great Pyramid. And hopefully by now, you are all quite familiar with the configuration of this structure. And these 2 diagrams that I'm about to present are by far the most accurate on the internet. This one here correctly depicting all 3 chambers, with the subterranean pump chamber here, the extraction chamber in the middle here, the inclined contact process chamber here, the sulfur furnace here, and the air shafts of this furnace chamber do reach the outside of the structure to bring air into the combustion chamber, and the shafts in the Queen's Chamber terminate within the body of the pyramid. They do not reach the outside, which is correctly depicted on this diagram. This image also correctly shows the utilization of red granite within the Great Pyramid, with the 3 plugs in their current location here, the granite antechamber here, and the granite furnace chamber here. And this second diagram is comparably accurate and includes the exterior structures, including the black basalt Eastern Temple here, which we now know was constructed using a thermoregulatory, heat storage, and acoustic insulating stone material, and the 3 satellite pyramids here, and the 5 quote-unquote boat pits here, 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 and these 2 in between the 3 satellite pyramids here. You will also see in today's footage some unusual discoveries that I saw for the first time during this expedition to the Giza Plateau. So now, ladies and gentlemen, that you have seen the layout, without further ado, I hope you enjoy Sunday Site Visit 17 inside the Great Pyramid.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the land of Chem. And yes, I am a bit out of breath, having hiked up the road to get up here to the Giza plateau. And I like to move pretty quickly when I come out here for these site expeditions. My dad always said, move with a purpose. So this is a view of the Great Pyramid that you might not have seen before. The southeastern corner and the ancillary structures in this area, including the 3 pyramids here on the eastern side. And today, the primary objective, let me switch my view here. So primary objective for today's expedition, inside the Great Pyramid, so we can get some footage prior to the maintenance repairs that will be occurring during the month of June, because the entire pyramid is closed for the entire month to the public, so that they can restore the inside of the structure. Next, we will be investigating, obviously, the iron oxide deposits here on the Giza plateau.
All right, everyone, welcome back. And just made it through the entryway into the Great Pyramid of Giza. And looking up into the awesome contact process chamber. And as we discussed in the previous episode regarding the coating of calcium sulfate that was discovered inside the quote-unquote Queen's chamber or extraction chamber, which you can see here. And this area of the structure is only accessible via special permissions. And if you do get a special permission from the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, they will open up this little gate and you get private access into all 3 areas of the structure: the subterranean chamber, the extraction chamber, and you get to come in here rolling solo. And as you will most likely see in the remainder of my videos for today, the Giza plateau is absolutely packed. So we're going to take our time. And primary objective for today is to see the structure before it is closed for the month of June, because they're going to shut down the entry into the Great Pyramid for the whole month so that they can do some maintenance repairs. So I wanted to see what things look like now, and then we'll come back in July to see what these quote-unquote maintenance repairs have accomplished. So now I will continue filming until the security guards tell me not to, and we'll go from there. Yalla bina.
And just so you guys can see what we're working with here today. It is a full house here on the Giza Plateau, which is pretty typical for this time of year here in Egypt. And one thing I will point out as we begin to ascend the staircase into the primary reaction chamber, there has absolutely been material removed from the walls here in the contact process chamber as well. In like manner as the material that was removed. And you can see the pattern from where that material was removed from the walls. That calcium sulfate coating and salt coating was also discovered here in the Grand Gallery. And any of you who haven't seen my previous episode, chemically resistant sealers, coating compounds, and calcium sulfate, should go check that out now, because it is one of the most remarkable discoveries that I've reported yet here on the channel. And on the way back out, we'll get some more footage of the oxidation that you can see here in the upper part of the contact process chamber. And I'll try to take my time, go a little bit more slowly on the way out, so you guys can see everything. Oh man, it is slammed in here today. There you can already see some of the oxidation and what looks like iron oxide as well in the upper portion of the chamber. And this area in particular has significant oxidation in the upper tiers of the vault here. And you can definitely see that the entire inside of this chamber looks like it was baked at a very, very high temperature. An indication of the exothermic reactions that were occurring inside of this chamber during the process of dissolving the sulfur trioxide into an aqueous solution. Let's go. All right, everyone. The contact process chamber. And you can already hear it is loud and full of people in here today. So instead of filming everybody in here, we're going to focus on the ceiling. So look at the staining here. And the staining on this tier is coming directly from the northern air shaft. Look at that. Southern air shaft. And I'm going to show you as soon as this gentleman scoots out of the way that there is a configuration to this determination of this southern air shaft. It doesn't come straight out. It comes out at an angle. And this is an intentional portion of the engineering of the structure. And as described in previous episodes, the channels leading from the primary reaction chamber into the antechamber. Sulfur dioxide gases have been drawn up through these channels and through this antechamber down into the contact process chamber via the mechanism of lowering the water in the contact process chamber, which you will see here in just a moment. And recall, ladies and gentlemen, that this chamber, there were 3 granite slabs that once filled these housings. So there was one here, and one here. Granite slabs inside of the granite antechamber. And any of you that have been following along will know that the red granite and the quartz crystal therein, hopefully you can pick up some of that crystalline quartz material here, how to function within these structures. As related to the production of ultrasound. And you can see the oxidation on the upper portion of this tier here. And we will see more of that when we continue into the contact process chamber. Stay tuned. All right, man, it is a packed house. An absolute madhouse here inside the Great Pyramid of Giza today. And this is one of the times that I'm very grateful that I live in Egypt now, because I can come back anytime and get more footage. Because it is packed in here and hot as it could possibly be. So now what we're looking at here, the upper vault of the contact process chamber. And I just want you guys to note the oxidation stains on the top of this chamber.
YouTuber? Ouch.
And we'll see more of those.
Oh God. Oh,
specifically here at the top of the contact process chamber. And this entire portion of the upper vault is coated with that material. And again, this is one of those things where we wish we could get additional chemical analyses from inside of these structures to determine exactly what that is. It does also appear to be a significant amount of iron oxide, either in the stone or possibly in the bedrock of the stone. As we've discussed in regard to the configuration of the central pyramid, these structures are constructed on a mound of bedrock that contains the iron oxide deposits that we'll be seeing here in just a moment. So I think this is the best that we can do for today inside the Great Pyramid. And we will resume our expedition today on the exterior of the structure. Oh yeah, the lights just came on so you can see a little bit better. Here into the uppermost portion of the contact process chamber. Holy shit. So I've been in the Great Pyramid, I don't know, at least a dozen times. And this is the first time I can ever say that I am happy to be out of there. And it was packed. But now, you'll also be able to see the reality of tourism here in Egypt. And as you've seen in some of my previous episodes, it's not like this at the other sites. Obviously, Giza is the main tourist attraction up here. And it is jam-packed with people today. But this is what feeds the economy and feeds the people here in Egypt. So now everybody's doing pictures for the gram.
Nice, American. See you later, Alex.
Ana bin Masr.
Oh, good man. Would you like a scarf?
La, shukran.
Bye-bye.
All right, so now let's do what we came here to do. All right. Immediately, you'll be able to see all these ruts. And they are covering the Giza plateau. And all of these ruts were filled with these deposits of iron oxide. So step one today is to do some investigation of the pits. And I made a pretty interesting little find on my walk up here, which we will also be documenting today. So this is pit number 1. And you can see in these crags the iron oxide that I would propose was most likely originally filling this entire pit, because all of these veins emanate from or deposit into this large pit here. And these are the same type of pits that we find all over the eastern temple of the central pyramid, and that will be our secondary destination for today. And you can see this big vein here that's been filled in with blocks converging into the core of the Great Pyramid. And we discovered in our previous expeditions that the veins of iron oxide near the central pyramid converge into the core of the structure. So the central pyramid itself is built on a mound of bedrock that is permeated with these deposits of iron oxide. And I would propose the same is true about the Great Pyramid here behind me, that this structure is constructed on a bedrock mound that also contains these iron oxide deposits, because these structures are very strategically placed here on the Giza Plateau. None of this is done superfluously. Their specific place on the planet, their alignments, all of the astrological correspondences are all very intentional. So now we're going to walk over here to some areas that are adjacent to the Eastern Temple, which you can see here. The black basalt paving of the Eastern Temple, which we will investigate here in just a moment. And here, so there's a number of modern conduits that run through this area that were carved to house the lighting cables for the sound and light show. So at night, they do a big presentation at the Sphinx Temple and they light up the Great Pyramid. It's absolutely spectacular. But a lot of these channels were excavated to house the lighting for that sound and light show. However, we were speaking to an archaeologist on site, and he mentioned that this channel here that you can see running in this direction is an ancient original conduit here on the eastern side of the Great Pyramid of Giza.
This side, my friend.
La shukran.
Okay, my friend.
And so this is the termination of that channel. And we're going to follow this a little bit further because I can see there's more of it down here. And I'm guessing it leads to an area where there would have been iron oxide. And here's the termination of the channel over here. Gamu, as they say here in Egypt. All right, try not to step in a bunch of camel shit as I walk around here. All right, now, in just a moment, I will begin to put all of the pieces together as we proceed through our expedition of the Giza Plateau today. So we've already been discussing how the Great Pyramid of Giza was producing a dilute solution of sulfuric acid. And you can see here, here's a good channel with the iron oxide deposits. This is iron oxide, that reddish brown material that you can see here. There's more of that material here. So again, it would be more unusual if we did not see these deposits of iron oxide. And here's pit number 2 that we will be investigating. All right, so let's start here. You can see this vein here, the reddish brown color of iron oxide. And let's follow this vein. This is modern restoration work. This is a patch piece here. This isn't a conduit. More iron oxide here. Let's follow this vein, see where it goes. So the vein leads through the Eastern Temple over here. And where does it go? Into pit number 2. So again, this is direct evidence that these large pits adjacent to the Giza Plateau, or the Great Pyramid on the Giza Plateau, were also filled with this iron oxide. So imagine this huge pit here filled with metal-rich minerals. And you can see here some of the adjacent pyramids on the eastern side. And I'm going to take my time today because it is beautiful out here, not too hot. And having just gotten outside of the jam-packed internal reaction chambers of the Great Pyramid, I was actually able to get some footage in there, which I'm pretty surprised. I wasn't sure what I was going to be able to get when I started walking in there. So here's another pit over here. And I have something special coming up from this area specifically. And if I remember correctly, this is the area that's known as the trial, quote-unquote, trial passages. And I have something very special coming up from the Ascita project in regard to the trial passages. But look at what we have here. You can see more of this iron permeated bedrock all in through this area here. Look at these very unusual erosion patterns here. Certainly looks like acidic erosion to me. Like perhaps there was an acidic solution flowing through this area at some point and leading down into the quote-unquote trial passage. So now we're getting somewhere. And I'm just going to continue filming so that those of you that have never been to the Giza Plateau can have an opportunity to experience this for yourself. And for those of you that have already registered for my 2023 research expedition, we have 2 full days on the Giza Plateau because it's essentially impossible to cover everything in one day when you're out here. So day number 1 will be Great Pyramid and around the plateau area here. And then day number 2 will be Central Pyramid and the area surrounding the Sphinx. Absolutely beautiful today. All right, Yalovina. And I had to cut there for a moment so that I can take my shoes off and put my bare feet on that basalt floor so that I can connect to the earth and connect to these structures, which I absolutely love doing while I'm out here. So now let's resume our exploration. And I'll be taking a few moments to cut today so I can recharge myself. All right, so now the 3 ancillary pyramids here on the Giza plateau. And pit number 3, let's go ahead and take a look at this. I've shown this in previous episodes. Again, nothing different here than what we previously discussed. Veins of iron oxide converging into a massive pit that was once most likely completely filled with iron oxide. And you can see the dark material down in this vein here, and vein converging back into the Great Pyramid. I love when the sunlight reflects like that, the play of light and shadow. And this is, I'm always appreciative of the opportunity to live here in Egypt, but this is, sometimes it's magical. All right, so let's follow this vein now. Here's a vein leading out this way. Vein was filled with iron oxide and all these other metals that we're finding in there, metals and minerals. So veins here, vein here. Look what we have here. Almost looks like there could have been a cap on that at one point, and you pop the cap off, solution flows down in through the hole into the pit. And of course they would say that this is for a solar boat. It's the conventional explanation. But I just noticed this component here today, which is the first time I've seen this. And it speaks to me more of the function of the site than anything else. And you can see here more veins of iron oxide. And it would have branched out into this area here. And granted, it does certainly look boat-shaped. But as you'll see with the pits adjacent to the eastern temple of the central pyramid, it is not boat-shaped whatsoever. And there certainly could have been some updates and restoration to this little area where they evened out the sides, removed the rest of the remaining material, the deposits of the iron, etc., and reconfigured this area. And this is an extremely interesting feature, in my opinion. Here. Oh, look at that. So now, we have seen 4 pits here on the eastern side of the Great Pyramid, some of which show evidence of acidic erosion. So now we will continue our expedition toward the central pyramid of Giza, where there is prolific evidence of acidic erosion leading into these deposits of iron oxide and other metal-rich minerals. And like I said before, today we're finally going to be putting all the pieces together with some additional chemical analysis that was recently provided to me by the Esoteric project. Shout out to the team, and thank you so much for everything that you've contributed in my research. And it's a pleasure to be doing some joint investigations together inside of the Bent Pyramid. So now we'll take a walk. And honestly, I don't often come over on this side because my focus has predominantly been on the interior of the structures. I focus specifically on the function of the interior chambers. However, the more I explore the exterior, more of the pieces start coming together. All right, so now pit number 5. Gotta say, it's quite peaceful. Look at what we have here. And if you can see here, I'm going to show this from a few different angles. Alright, so this is a piece of a channel. Son of a bitch. Should come over here more often. Alright, so you see this here? This is the same appearance as the original channel that we saw earlier in the video. So the channel flows through here. Okay, flowing in this direction through here. Take a look at this one.
What's that?
صديقي انت العمل ايه؟
الحمد لله.
ايوه الحمد لله الحمد لله.
No, hey.
هنا.
This is canal.
ايوه, yes, I know. Of course he's saying canal. Conduit.
Of the boat.
Channel.
You see boat?
Iowa, yes. All right, so he's saying that this is a canal for the boat. All right.
And look this here. Excuse me.
But we know what we're looking at here. Yes, I see.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. What's your country?
أنا من مصر صديقي. أنا بعيش في مادي.
مرحبا.
And if you look here, there's some cement here, which is most likely an indication that there was copper or some sort of pipe or tubing, sheath, whatever you want to call it, that was anchored into this channel.
Yes, the people Egyptian archaeologists building. This.
Yes, this part here. Yes, yes. Just keep it stable. Yes,
One
yes.
second, come this way. Come this way.
So he's saying that this part here is restoration, that's modern, that was added by the archaeologists to stabilize the channel. Iowa.
No.
Yes, yes. Yes. And this is,
Egyptian.
so he's saying this is original mortar that was holding this together, like it was just shown. So this piece here is original mortar. Shukran jazila, this way.
Okay. ايوه يا استاذ اللي فوق.
All right. And look here.
Okay, madam, no problem.
Look at this big old piece.
Okay.
Just permeated with iron oxide. Here. See all this filled with iron oxide. There's a vein here. We'll run through this entire area over here. And he's yelling at people that are climbing the pyramids, taking photos up there. But, so pretty interesting stuff over on this side. I'm glad I came over in this direction today. Again, all of these pits, this is another unexcavated shaft. Looks like there was iron oxide material in through here. And this is why it's going to be a 2-day expedition of the Giza plateau, because there's so much to see out here. So this is a canal for the boat. Okay. So what was happening here? So let's start.
All right, everyone, now that you've seen the footage, I want to introduce you to a few diagrams and maps that will be extremely relevant to some upcoming discussions, and also to preview what I will be searching for on a future Sunday site visit, the Monument of Kenkawes, which some describe as a temple, some as a quote-unquote stepped tomb, and others as a pyramid that you can see here on this recreation of the Giza Plateau. And the reason I am searching for this monument is because I am currently putting together all of the pieces for a finalized theory on the function and product of the third and final pyramid of the Giza Plateau, the Pyramid of Menkaura, which you can see here, which involves simultaneously understanding the overall purpose and function of the Giza Plateau system. Yes, these structures operated independently, producing specific individual chemicals. However, this entire group of structures functioned as an integrated system. And for now, I'll leave it at that. All right, everyone, that is it for today's video. This was Sunday Site Visit 17, exploring the inside of the Great Pyramid. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. And in the next episode in the series, I will return to my research investigating the conduit system at the Pyramid of Sahura. If this is the type of content you're interested in regarding the function of the Egyptian pyramids, please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube. Click that little notification bell, like, comment, and stay tuned. If you want to help support the channel, thelandofchem.com. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is @thelandofchem. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that is it for today's video. So I will see you next time.
Yo, are you still watching this? Please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube and click that little notification button. New videos coming out every single week. And check out this other episode. Come on, do it. Do it now.